privilege to bring to the stage at this time, he is the one and only Steve Burns, everybody! Hi. Aw, I feel like that was so sweet. Next time we'll have to make up a handshake.
What's up?
How's it going?
I'm good. How have you been?
I've been amazing.
It's
Can't
always
complain.
good to see you.
I know, likewise. It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So
Your hair is so cool.
Thank you.
If I had hair, I would want electric glitter hair.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, I wanted to ask because I saw you a couple weeks ago at another GalaxyCon in Raleigh. Are you a wrestling fan?
You know, I was a big time wrestling fan, but back in the day, you know, because I'm much older than the new stuff. I was like a, you know, Jimmy Snuka, Hulk Hogan era kind of wrestling fan, and I was a big fan.
Yeah, because you took this iconic picture with the Hardy Boys.
Oh yeah, see, but they were a little after my time, but I totally am aware of who they are.
Well, like you knew the hand signals, and then
Yeah.
you got invited to the Hardy compound.
I didn't get invited to the Hardy compound. That only happened on Instagram afterwards. I would have totally gone to the Hardy compound.
This is the crossover we need to see.
I know, I agree. That would be great. Maybe that's my act two, is I'm like a professional wrestler.
Yeah. Oh, we like
Yeah.
Okay.
The man-child.
I mean, there's wrestlers, announcers. You know, you could be a manager. There's so many.
Oh, a
roles.
manager. I would be a good manager. Yeah,
think so.
That would be funny.
Oh, I can't.
I should be a heel. That would work. Like, oh, he's old and tiny, but he's mean now.
Which is like so different from natural you, because you are so nice, and I tell you this all the time, that you are literally the nicest.
She's so nice.
No, I mean it.
But I'm not the nicest.
No?
I'm not any nicer than other people. Well, that's not true. I think there's a lot of mean people, unfortunately, in the world. But I think I'm a pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm like exceptionally nice.
Okay.
I think I'm just like, like I get impatient and I have a temper sometimes, and especially in like crowds and stuff. But I do believe that we are all better served if we start our day thinking of ways to be kind to each other and have compassion for each other. And I do try to hold that idea a lot, but I think a lot of people do. I think most people I meet are pretty nice.
That's good.
And the ones that are just jerks kind of stand out because they're a little bit exceptional.
Yeah.
But do you guys think that? Like, I think most people, I lived in New York City for 27 years, I think. And that is a stressful place to exist.
Yeah.
Like it's like a war living there. And it's like hot and it smells like pee and it's like super crowded and everything's loud. It's like a really intense environment. And people are pretty grumpy there, but they're really nice to each other. And you see people who need help all the time. People help each other out. People are like carrying each other's suitcases up and down the subway stairs, carrying strollers up and down the subway stairs. That was always one of my favorite things about New York City, is if you saw a mom trying to go down the subway with a stroller, it was like a fight to who got to help her. Everybody's like, oh, I got it. So I think that I do believe that New York City is sort of proof that people are fundamentally, at least tolerant of each other's existence fundamentally. And while there is tremendous intolerance in the world, and while there is tremendous cruelty in the world, I don't believe that is our default state.
That's fair.
I just don't. Or New York would be chaos.
Right.
Or this room would be chaos.
Right. I like fundamentally fun. That's fun.
Yeah, fun is fundamental.
Yeah. Cool. We're learning things here today. Okay, so to pivot ever so slightly, I wanted to talk a little bit about your music. And I know the last time we spoke, you mentioned how the Flaming Lips were, inspired you a lot. But I want to know if you could tell us a little bit about the evolution of your music in particular.
Well, I always wanted to be a musician, when I was, even I guess when I was about 14 is when I really picked up the guitar. And, I still don't know how to play it, really.
But you picked it up. That's,
Yeah, but I could always just bash around on it until something happened, That's always been my approach to music in general. It's just kind of like I'm just chasing a feeling more than I am trying to play masterfully in any way. And so I guess I can't say I've always wanted to be a musician, but I've always been interested in that. What I love the most about music is making the music, recording the music, adding the sounds, adding the tracks together. I really like that. And when I was on the host of a children's television show in the 90s, that was kind of how I relaxed. I discovered an audio program called Pro Tools, and that was right around the time when they made a version of it that idiots could use. And I was that idiot, and I just kept hacking away. And I just privately was making all of this music. And after I left the show, I kind of bumped into the producer of my favorite band, who was like an art rock band named The Flaming Lips. I loved that band. And I bumped into their producer, and I gave him a demo of mine. And he confessed that he only listened to it to make fun of it. But he was like, this is actually kind of good. There are 3 good songs on here and many bad ones. And so I went up to his studio in upstate New York to record with him. And the Flaming Lips were there. My favorite band was like there, hanging out, and making their new album. And we started talking about David Bowie and became best friends immediately, And that just became like a working relationship, where you get to, it's really one of the most amazing experiences that I cherish the most in my life, the great fortune of getting to do that. They say don't meet your heroes, but I did, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I still know those guys,
So cool.
It is really cool, and and I'm not, again, like I'm really not I don't play. Like, I'm sure there's musicians in the room. I don't play, but I can kind of hack away a decent song. Like if I make 10,000 songs, 3 will be decent. And because of that, I've written songs for television, and I had this whole sort of like parallel career with that, which has been just wonderful.
Yeah. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you say sometimes don't meet your heroes. Yesterday, my favorite band actually came to this convention.
Who?
Blue October. Do you know Blue October?
I don't,
Have y'all know Blue October? We have like a couple. They were just walking around here yesterday.
And you got to meet them?
I'd met them before, but yeah, it's just, they're such cool people.
Was that so fun?
Yeah, they came to meet you, actually.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Did they say hi and say we're in Blue October?
Yeah.
I did meet those guys.
Yeah, and you signed a picture for...
Oh my gosh, I didn't know they were your favorite band. They were super cool.
Yeah, they're good people.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes meet your heroes.
Yeah, and sometimes meet your heroes.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, you definitely turned his son's day completely around. Yeah, so.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Yep.
What about your process of like just creating art in general?
Oh, wow, that's quite a question. Like, I think that there are just people for whom the world is better explained that way. I know that there are people who don't see the world in creative terms. I'm not that person, I have this sort of posture that always tries to see the world in terms of how it feels, I guess, if that makes a form of sense. And I've always wanted to do these things, like I was always drawing and sculpting, and when I was in high school, I got accepted to a scholarship arts program, like a summer thing in Pennsylvania, and I got accepted for acting and for writing, because what I thought I wanted to do was be a writer. And they said I could go for both. And when I got there, they made me pick one instead. And there were cuter girls in the theater thing. So that's what I did. But in a way, I don't make a distinction between any of it. It's all the same stuff. You know, it's just like a lens you put in front of your creativity. Like, am I sculpting with clay? Am I writing haiku? Am I talking to a bar of soap? You know, it's all sort of creative energy that you sort of funnel through a different lens. I guess that's a really pretentious way of saying it all comes from the same place, and it's all the same impulse, ultimately. But it's not something I ever chose to do or pursued. It was just always something I was always had a proclivity to do. You know what I mean? It was just always what I was doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, so if it's okay with you, once again, we do have a microphone. Yeah. All right. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Matt. Hey, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
2 years ago, you made a video that was very nostalgic, and it meant a lot to a lot of people who are a little bit older now, around my age, and it was really well received.
How old are you, man?
I just turned 40.
Hey, happy birthday. Glad you were born.
Thank you. And I'm just wondering what your reaction to all of the nostalgia and heartfelt reactions that video gave to a lot of people.
Well, thanks, man. That blew my mind, right? When I tell you I didn't know what that show meant, I didn't. I had some idea. I knew that it was a very successful kids' TV show, you know. But I honestly thought you all thought I was dead.
The internet told us you were, so.
I know, and I really thought that was. I thought that's one of the reasons why I kind of disappeared. I was like, oh, I should just, no one even knows I'm alive, so like I'll just chill. And I didn't really know that the connection that I was trying to make in 1998 worked, and I didn't know that it was impactful in that way, and I didn't know that we could still continue the conversation in exactly the same way. And everyone, just today, people were telling me how much that message meant to them. It meant more to me. You know, you guys, that was a really healing, the response to that message was a really healing thing in my life, and I can't thank you guys enough, so thank you. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to switch seats because the seat's more in the middle? Okay, we're going to switch seats. Sorry. That one's in the middle. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah, I agree. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, I'm Allie.
Hi.
And yeah, thank you for showing me that I can do anything that I want to do. It's really
within
helpful.
certain limits.
Within certain limits, absolutely. I can't be Pope, so
the laws of thermodynamics.
I can't do that. Totally.
Obviously, certain moral and ethical norms. Yes.
Quite so. On a different note, as a theater kid now working in software, I find that theater still follows me and teaches me things and influences me.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you said. You do.
As a
You're
theater kid now
who
working
now
in
programs software.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
After moving from theater to being in front of the camera, were there things that you were surprised you had to hold on to from theater, and things that you were surprised that you had to let go of or unlearn from your theater background?
Well, I think what I did on the kids show was very much about theater. It's a very theatrical
Interactive.
thing. There was a play that I did. I went to college for theater, right? And there was a play that I did called Harvey. Does anyone know what that play is?
I have a Harvey tattoo.
You have a puka tattoo?
Yeah, I do.
Did we discuss this?
No.
And that play,
That's so funny.
we got to talk about this.
Yeah, we will. Okay.
But that play is about this dude, right, who's like really happy, weird guy, and everyone likes him, and he's totally cool, except he has a giant invisible friend who's a rabbit. And he's always like, oh, hi, this is my friend Harvey, you know? And I remember when I did that play to create that character, I just found this sense of joy and wonder, and that's what I used for that, and I used that character at the audition for the kid show. I just kind of transferred it, you know?
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah. So, and that's a very theatrical thing. So I was like, okay, the way that you might break the fourth wall. You guys know what that means? That's a very powerful thing that happens in the theater, right? You know, it's a very powerful thing to maintain a fourth wall in the theater, to ostensibly make it seem like, you know, we're in a living room in Russia having a really dark conversation that people are just listening to. But it's another thing to talk to an audience. And I love doing that as an actor on stage, talking to the audience. Another play that I did, because these are the kind of plays you do in college that I loved, was a play called Our Town, which we all read in high school or whatever and think is boring. That is a deeply weird piece of absurdist theater.
I have a tattoo of that one. Don't worry.
I have a Thornton Wilder tattoo, Steve. This is crazy. But that's like a really intense, sad play. And I got to be in that play where I got to talk to the audience the whole time. So I was using all of the theater stuff that I knew on the kid show. And it also has like a big kind of musical theater energy to it and stuff like that. I'm not super great at being, I can be very realistic seeming on stage, but if you do that on film, if I do that on film, I look like I'm being a freak because I'm a little big, I'm a little like, you know, over the top because of the theater training. So what I did there, the theater training was helpful, directly informed what I was able to do and was a huge help to me. Did that answer your question, Joel?
Yes, thank you.
Great question.
Hello, Steve.
Yo.
My name is Robert Ramirez. Thank
Sup?
you for the little short story that you shared with me on when you were taking a picture with me. But I want to know.
Wait, which picture? I can't see.
I'm the voice actor that you talked about, the mic.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's appropriate to say that.
You know, I got you.
But what is your favorite voice acting gig that you did past the kids shows?
A lot of you guys don't know this. That kid show was for many years just like my side hustle. My real job, and we're allowed to talk about commercial stuff, right?
I believe so, yeah.
We are, I remember, we are. My real job was I was a commercial voice actor. So at the end of TV commercials, you heard my voice your whole life, right? I believe I'm still currently the dude who says, Snickers satisfies. It's like, you... I think I can do that, right? If I believe we're allowed to talk about commercial work. If we're not, I did not mean to offend the strike because I am in pure solidarity with that. Yeah, so
Oh my God, that's great.
all of it was my favorite. Imagine a better job than that. Right? Like you just go to work and you say, hey, do the thing with the stuff, drive the new car, get the insurance, cool. You know, like that's what you do, you know, and it was like the greatest job. And because of the residuals that actors are struggling to keep, you know, that was like a really, really good gig. So all of it was my favorite. And I got to tell you, it was the one thing in my life that I knew was such a good thing that I didn't think about it. I didn't pay attention to it. I just did it. I thought, and maybe it was a little superstitious, but I was like, if I give that too much attention, it will go away. So people called me up and say, hey, will you come do this commercial? I was like, yes, I will. Yes, I will. And I wouldn't talk about it or think about it. And it was just, and that became a 25-year career for me.
Crazy.
So I'm so lucky to have ever done that. But what I can't do is what all these incredibly talented actors who are here do. These guys who do the anime and these guys who are doing serious character commercial or character voiceover stuff. I can't do that. I'm not very good at that. My voice really isn't that flexible.
I think you got it in you.
No, because I always sound flat when I try
Hey,
to-
you know, I was told by people too, is there's a character for every single voice out there.
Sure, I could be like a kind of bored middle-aged guy.
Hey, you know what? And people would be cosplaying you all the way.
Yeah. Wait,
Oh no!
Thank you
it's a
so
dragon.
much.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
wait. Follow-up question. What's your favorite candy bar?
Oh, my favorite candy bar. Oh, I'm a Kit Kat guy.
Oh, okay.
Frozen Kit Kat is one heck of a thing, man. That's
All right.
a good thing.
Well, we won't tell Snickers then.
What's that?
So we won't tell Snickers then. They said
What's
Kit Kat.
yours?
I don't know.
That's a tough question, actually.
I've never had like.
Someone asked me recently, which is why I know the answer to that. But
Yeah. No, I've never had a Kit Kat or a Snickers or any of those.
really, oh my God, you poor thing.
I know. I know.
They're good.
I believe you. Go ahead.
Hey, Steve, I'm a big fan.
Hi.
Yeah, just to change topics, is Steve Burns a positive sentence or a negative sentence?
The best question probably ever. I'm going to say positive. Steve burns with a passionate fire within.
Great question. Y'all are so creative, man. This is crazy.
Great question, man.
Hi, my name is Natalie. Real quick, I also had to read Our Town in high school, so I knew the weirdness you were talking about. Oh, yeah.
She said,
Same high school? Is that what you said?
No, I said I also had to read Our Town in high school, so
right.
I knew.
were you the stage manager?
No, we just had to read it.
Oh, you had to read it.
No, I wasn't in it, but we had to read it. But my question for you was, so, you know, we all grew up with Blue's Clues and with Steve. Who was like your Steve when you grew up?
Grover.
That's cool.
So, okay, we talk about, you know, how I got that role, what my influences were for that role. I talked about Harvey, and that was that kind of spark, that wonder thing was that, right? The rest was Grover and the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Remember that? Where he's like,
Yeah, I've seen that.
you're here.
Yes.
Go, it's over. The way he was talking to the camera, I was like, I'll do that. I'll do that plus near far. Done.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Great. Another great question.
Hi, my name is Teresa. My daughter had a said children's show house that I made out of graham crackers for her first birthday. So I was wondering, what was your favorite birthday?
My favorite birthday. I'm trying to think. You know, I'm one of those people that doesn't like to celebrate their birthday too much. Is anyone else like that? I'm always like, I just don't feel like, you know, that's not the kind of attention that I enjoy so much. But I do remember having a great, great birthday where my mom made me a Cookie Monster cake. That was a big deal. I remember a birthday where all of my friends from like third grade came over. That was really cool. And I had a really good 30th birthday in Oklahoma City. That was really cool. Yeah. Those, I guess. So.
Thank you.
Well, for your next one, we'll get our new friend and she can make you a graham cracker house. We'll all celebrate together.
Hi, I'm Mags. I'm also a musician, picked up guitar like 2 years before you.
Is that your main?
Yeah, that's my main.
Now, do you play? Like, can you read music? Are you good?
Yeah, I started with violin in 6th grade, so I know treble, everything. My question was, when you started like producing your own music, how did you learn the actual like software? Did you just YouTube everything? Or?
Just know that wasn't a thing. You know, I was just cursing and smashing away at it.
Because that's what I did. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It was very frustrating. But that was what was great about it is, you know, what I discovered was pitch shift, reverse, and all these other things. Like I would often do a thing where I would play one note into the computer and on a guitar, and then I would pitch shift it into other notes. And when you do that, it pulls it apart, it pulls the waveform apart, it makes it all dirty and weird and cool sounding. And then I would reverse things, and I would time compress and expand things, and just out of one note. And I would give myself like almost like problems that way. Like, can you write a song with one note?
Easy.
You know, of course, right? But really fun to like sort of create a keyboard out of one sound, essentially. A lot of people do this kind of stuff. And so I would always find sort of almost like backdoor handles into composition that way. And you start to figure out production out of necessity. Like eventually you have to be like, I'm going to need to figure out how to do a stereo reverb bus here at some point in my life. And you just kind of figure that stuff out. But again, like, I'm not a real musician. I don't really play. I don't really produce either. Like, you know, nothing that I make could be on the internet or the radio or television.
I got that.
Well, no, I mean, but it's not mastered and it's not like correctly produced. But it's more just like composing. You ever see one of those painters who's got like a paintbrush, he's covered in paint, and he's got rollers and like, you know, a machine gun and a chainsaw, and he's painting with it? That's how I write music. So.
Cool. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve. I'm Gavin.
Hi.
At the end of every episode of your kids' show, you would sing a goodbye song. And my mom said when I was 2 years old, I would always start screaming and crying. And I just wanted to know, as a person who enjoys music, did you help with the production or creation of any of those songs?
Not really. I mean, this would get into stuff I'm not allowed to talk about, but not really. There's some pretty good examples that maybe in the future I could tell you about.
Okay.
I probably can't right now. But basically, no.
Okay. Thanks for being my first friend.
Oh, hey, man. I'm glad we're still friends, man. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jen.
Hi.
I have a younger sister, so I'm more familiar with your work because of her. But I
can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Or maybe if I remove the mask.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you just talk not on the microphone?
Oh, not on the microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm familiar with your work because of my younger sister. You were a very
this is so much
prominent part of our household.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed your story you told on the Moth Radio Hour. That was fantastic.
That was all true, man.
Great story. I play guitar. My question was, what's your favorite song to play on the guitar that's maybe just warm up, something that's fun for you?
Oh, I'll do weird Nick Drake tunings and stuff just to get my right hand warmed up, just to really kind of get Travisy on the right hand, get this going. And so I'm not doing too much with the left for a while. And then I'll do, going to California or something, you know what I mean? Some Zeppelin-y stuff to
nice.
to get going. Stuff like that. I've been really churchy folky lately with the guitar. I've been doing iron and wine sensitive jams. I think it's because I live in the woods now. I wake up with the sun and there's a mist on the mountain and I'm like, sensitive. Sensitive guitar music, So yeah, I'm more into fingerstyle stuff than I ever was, so I do that.
Yeah. You should try some Tracy Chapman. Her stuff is really good.
She's so sad. Oh my God. Beautiful songwriter. She's amazing. And a good guitar player too, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yep.
Hi, Steve. I don't know how detailed you can answer this, but I wanted to know, do you ever look back at the kids show and look at the stuff you've done or the things you've said and feel like, oh man, I wish I could have said or done that differently?
Yes. 100%. You know, I would love to talk to like LeVar or like some of these other guys about this, but there was such a pressure to like say, I am, okay, the show that I'm on is reaching how many millions of children? And we're repeating the same messages over and over. Fred Rogers always talked about how whatever comes out of the television is sanctioned as a piece of the caregiving of that home in the same way that whatever comes out of the stove is, right? And that is the importance of that. And then when people are telling you, oh, you're for this time period, we're the #1 rated kid show, and everyone's listening, and I talk to all of you, and I see that it was impactful, I was terrified as the person delivering that message. You know, I would always worry about that. I would always worry, what if what we're saying isn't true? And you know, the funny story is I used to say, basically I would say, if you are intentional and thoughtful and deliberate about your actions, you can achieve anything, right? And you can be anything that you choose. You know, my favorite piece of fan mail I ever got said, "Dear Steve, I love you. Aww. I want to be a pizza." Love, Scott. So I would worry about Scott. Like, is Scott going to end up 30 years old, like covered in marinara sauce somewhere? Because I told him that he could do that. You know, but I was worried about it as someone who was sort of delivering these messages. I felt certainly unqualified to be someone who was doing that. But the messages we delivered, I stand by. You know, people who created that show were brilliant, and we said good things. So, you know, I'm enormously proud of the messages that we delivered. But in the moment, it was terrifying. You know, it was terrifying to do that. It was pressure, I should say, not terrifying, but it felt like pressure. Great question.
Thank you. You're a legend. I love you.
You're not Scott, are you?
He doesn't look like a pizza.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Corinne. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So I remember being in like middle school, elementary school. You released there's like a part Nickelodeon released where you explained why you left the kids show, and you had said it was because you like lost your hair.
I did. That totally happened.
Wanted to know, like, with you being like this super positive, like, figure for kids, what message would you tell us now that your body image like changed and you're a different age going forward in life? Like, what advice would you give to us?
I would say don't let male pattern baldness stop you from anything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about me having a negative self-image. It was more about, oh, you know what? This character sort of operates in this sort of big brother-child space. There needs to be a youthful quality about that. And also, I took a good hard look at the pants they made me wear. And I realized these were not people who were going to get me a flattering wig. Like, it would have been bad. And honestly, the baldness story was just, you know, sort of a cute way of kind of getting out of it, you know. There were many, many reasons for me leaving when I did, you know, and it wasn't all baldness, but that was part of it, you know, for sure. But for all of my beautiful bald brothers out here, there you go. Bald, you know, bald doesn't bother me anymore. Although hair looks fun, like that looks fun. I bet that's fun to do.
Yeah,
I never thought it looked bad. It looked great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And honestly, I don't think they would have wanted that. You know what I mean? And I understand that. I think they would have been like, oh no, this guy needs to be sort of a youngish thing, you know, and I respect and understand that. So.
You can do it all the time.
Well, hi, Steve. You look great, by the way.
Hey, thanks. So do you, man.
Are
you Scott?
No.
Scott, are you here?
Close. My name is Seth. Nice to see you again. I always wondered, I don't know how much you can really talk about it, but I always felt weird about, like, when we grew up with it, the show, the animation was like 2D. And, you know, as it going on, it like more got 3D. I just wondered how you felt about the animation back then or the animation now, like being like 2D to 3D now. No?
I can talk around that.
You can? Okay.
Just like how you feel about animation changing like that.
What I can say in general is that, you know, there's value in simplicity and approachableness as it relates to children's content, right? If something looks like it's cut out of felt and pasted together, you know, and made out of crayons, made out of some of the things that might be in your playroom, you know, there's an immediacy and a familiarity and a comfort to that style of animation. That's one choice. Another choice might be, this thing looks real. It looks like I could actually encounter this in real life, in 3 dimensions. And isn't that exciting? So those are 2 philosophies about how to be engaging, and I totally prefer the first one.
Yeah, thank you. That was good.
Yeah, right?
Good for you.
Better.
You fucking nailed that.
Thank you.
All right. Good.
Hey, Steve. My name is Scuba Velli.
Hey, how are you doing?
I just want to apologize on behalf of me and Jeff Hardy for starting the rumors that you were dead.
Wait, Jeff Hardy started the rumors that I was dead?
Well, we all got together in an RV one night and just had a good time and thought it would be funny.
It wasn't. No, I mean it.
Well, we definitely are glad that it brought you out to the light, and we are so thankful that you're here, and every single one of us, we love you, Steve.
Thanks, man. I'm not done with you yet, though. I want to talk to you about it. Why did you think it was funny?
Well, it was one of those things where when somebody is gone, we haven't seen them in a while, we figured stuff like that might bring them to the light. I mean, there was rumors where Stan Lee had died before his time, Ric Flair was gone before his time, and it was one of those things that made them stand up and say, hey, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
So you're saying like it was like a way of provoking someone back into the spotlight.
We were worried. Okay. We're always worried about the
Did you consider saying, hey, Steve, we're worried?
Now, that's Jeff's fault, you know. Matt put us up to it, so.
I understand. I'm just giving you a hard time. But I'm just here to tell you, you know, I believe we need to sort of reevaluate what we say and do with this powerful tool of the internet. Right? Things on the internet develop their own verity because they're on the internet. They develop the force of credibility through repetition. And if you say something mean about someone in a group of 3 people, can you imagine how much that hurts that person? Now imagine if 300,000 people are hearing that same, if 300,000 people are saying that same thing to one person. Now imagine if one person can actually watch 1 million people say something mean about them. I don't believe human beings are really equipped to handle that. And I think we need to be a little bit more compassionate in the way that we use the global interweb. And it's a very simple thing to just troll someone or say something mean about someone online or anywhere, but just know that there is a compounding exponential monster that can be created that does real damage in people's lives. And it might seem fun to say, oh, well, this thing is so implausibly pure, that it's really fun to pretend that it's on heroin. But that might have a real negative impact in someone's life. So these little things we do that we can't verify and that we don't know are true, that are perhaps satisfying to us in a funny way, might have really darker consequences out there for someone. There's people at the end of that stuff. And I'm not trying to single you out, man. I heard everything else that you said at the end of that, and I appreciate all of it and love you too, dude. But I just wanted to kind of use that question as a way of pointing that out.
Thank you, Steve.
And now it's going to be a whole nother conversation at the Hardy Boy compound. Oh my gosh, that was interesting. All right, we got a couple minutes left, so let's do these final 3 questions.
Hello, my name is Zoe, and I just want to say how much I loved watching Blue's Clues when I was little, and my dad would watch it too in the background, and he thought it was funny as well. It was like cute. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but when you were filming in front of the green screen, how did you know where to step? Because you always were in the perfect spot. So I was like,
no, I wasn't. Acting on a green screen is really challenging, right? Now, when I did it, it was a blue screen because my shirt was green.
Oh, okay.
But it's much easier now, okay? It's very commonplace now. People have objects, and sometimes they have people dressed in outfits that can help them know where to look. When I did it, we were doing it as cheaply as it was humanly possible to do. We were doing that show on desktop Macintosh, right?
Oh my God.
And I had no marks really, because if you had marks on the floor, we could see them. So we often didn't even use those. And it was like being in the bottom of a swimming pool. It was like being in a void, right? The room didn't have corners on it, so you couldn't tell where you were. And it was really hard. I would have to like run around and do weird stuff, and then in a void land here. And if I was here, it was wrong, and we had to do it again. You know, what saved me was our camera guy. I'm allowed to talk about that kind of stuff, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I had a camera guy named Skip.
Ooh.
And I loved Skip because he was told never move the camera, ever. The camera has to be still. But he would just unlock the camera. And he would like and just get me in exactly the right spot where he'd be like,
yay!
So, yeah, a lot of times where I would look like I was talking to the camera and I was like, oh, great, I was talking to Skip.
Yay!
Great question.
Thank you.
Shout out to Skip. All right.
Now, that's a process question, right? We're allowed to talk about that stuff. I think so.
Yeah. Thanks, Patty.
Is this a good distance?
Yes.
So my name is Audrey.
Yes, we just met.
I met you earlier.
You're an awesome person.
Oh.
You guys should all meet Audrey. She does cool stuff for a living because she's very cool and has a giant heart.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
Good.
So when I used to work in daycare, I worked with some preschoolers, and when we had circle time, I would sing the Blue's Clues circle time song. It was their favorite part of the day. They'd ask me to sing it multiple times, and so I wanted to know what was your favorite song to sing in Blue's Clues?
Well, I can't answer that question directly, but I can tell you that as a musician, I loved and always love when whenever it is we're expressing in a show can be expressed or elevated musically. I can't really sing, like I'm not like a show tuney person, but I was always jealous of those people. You know, because in show tunes and in Broadway theater and stuff, they're like, oh, so this is happening today, and this is really great for this reason, you know, and then they're like, and then they just take things into an imaginative realm. And anytime we were doing that, I was psyched. And music often, for me, is a better way of expressing joy about finding something, or about wondering where something is, or about the correct sequence of the heavenly bodies in our solar system. You know what I mean? So I can't answer that directly, but I loved it when I got to sing songs.
Awesome. Thank you for being a huge part of my childhood.
You nailed it again. All right, we have time for this final one, and then is our photographer? Okay, perfect. Go ahead, final question.
Hi, Steve.
Hey.
I'm Al, and I grew up with you almost on my TV all the time, as I assume everyone in this room did, and you're just such a big part of my life and my family's life, and thank you for that. And my question was, what's your favorite place to travel to? Like, what's your favorite place you've traveled?
I've seen a fair amount of the world. I've been to Antarctica.
Penguin fatigue.
Penguin fatigue, she knows all about that. And this is going to sound really hokey, but, you know, I'm more interested in being still these days. You know, travel's great. There's a big difference between travel and vacation. You know, and I like to travel, but more and more, I just kind of want to explore being still and being present with whatever's in front of me, as opposed to like voraciously trekking the globe. But that's not answering your question. Southeast Asia is pretty cool. India was awesome. India was like, what? I had no context for what India was going to be. It was crazy, chaotic madness. And to the degree that a place can be holy, it is. I want to go back there. The United States is pretty good. I'm serious. Anywhere from like San Francisco to Vancouver is cool with me. I don't know if you guys have ever been out there. I've met a lot of nice people in this part of the world. But I don't know. If you're talking from a food perspective, I would go back to like Vietnam. Right now. I don't know, does that answer your question? I would skip Antarctica. Skip it.
Fair. We'll just live vicariously through you, Steve.
Yeah.
So we're at time, unfortunately. So before we do wrap it up, any thoughts you want to leave us with here today?
No, hey, it's just so great to catch up with all of y'all, and thank you so much for coming out and saying hi. I say this a lot, but I know we don't technically know each other, but this always feels to me like I'm talking to an old friend. So I really appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you.